The third round of World Cup qualifiers in CONCACAF is here. An exhilarating round is upon us. We have great storylines like Guatemala, Suriname, Curaçao. Are Jamaica still frauds? Can Honduras return to the World Cup? Will Costa Rica reach another World Cup? We're going to preview and predict the third round. What you need to know is every group winner qualifies directly to the World Cup. The top two runners-up from all three groups, those two teams, they go into the Intercontinental playoff. I'm going to give my predictions on each group winner and the two teams I think will qualify to the Intercontinental playoff. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Do you think this is going to be a historic moment for Guatemala qualifying to their first ever World Cup? Do you think Panama will qualify to their second World Cup in their history? Will Jamaica finally return to the World Cup? So Group A, we got Panama, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Suriname. A very difficult group to predict because of what we have seen at the Gold Cup. Now, a lot of my analysis is based on what I saw at the Gold Cup. I didn't cover it here on the channel. Trust me, people, I was watching the games and I was thoroughly entertained by some of the teams. So let's just start off with this. When it comes to this group, Panama are huge favorites. Yes, Panama went out in the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup, but you have to understand, there was no Coco Carrasquilla. Coco Carrasquilla is the glue to this team. His return is so vital because he's the talisman. While Ismael Diaz had a fantastic Gold Cup, Coco Carrasquilla in that midfield is a game changer. And Christensen has done a marvelous job. Christensen deserves to manage at a World Cup for all of the work he has done for Panama, all of the work building a wonderful nucleus of players that just blend so many different styles. They can play attacking style of football. They can play on the counter-attack, be a very good defensive team. I just love this Panamanian team. I've been on the Panamanian Gatorade for the last couple of years because they play some good football and they punch above their weight. Now, the problem for Panama is they're not the cute story here. Everybody's going to be targeting Panama in this group. So can Panama deal with the pressure of being the group favorites and qualifying to their second ever World Cup? I know it was like a little bit of a disappointing exit at the Gold Cup, but Panama played, I think, the best football in the group stage of any team. Yes, they went out on penalties against Honduras and it was a bit of a disappointing exit. They still played some good football. I expect Panama to do very well in this group. Let's get to Guatemala, because Guatemala were definitely the Cinderella story of the Gold Cup. I mean, the football they play. I'm telling you, they lost to Jamaica in the second round of CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. I did not expect watching Guatemala in that game to do what they did at the Gold Cup. I mean, it was just marvelous to watch just the intensity they play at. One game, they were super defensive, but in the knockout stage against Canada, against the USA, they went toe-to-toe. Yes, Canada had the red card, but against the United States, I mean, Guatemala were the better team in the second half. And mind you, Guatemala have never qualified for the World Cup. This would be such a historic moment for this country, and the work that Luis Tena has done translating that sort of form from the Gold Cup to this third round is vital for Guatemala to do well. Now that there's a little bit more expectation, let's see how the players handle it. Let's see how Luis Tena handle it. Let's see how the fans can deal with this sort of uproar, this sort of momentum that they're building. Now, this is a good momentum builder. Now, can they sustain it? Can they build upon it? Now, obviously, Oscar Santillas was absolutely balling out at the Gold Cup. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. I'm really liking this star boy that they got, Olga Escobar. This guy, in that game against the Canada, I was like, wow, nice little touch, creativity, really something that Guatemala need. They don't have like a lot of goal scorers on this side. Good defensive team, very decent fullbacks. They got some crucial players going forward. That's going to be the key, though, for Guatemala. Their away record is stinky. It is in the basura. They recently lost to Jamaica 3-0, Guyana 3-2, Costa Rica 3-0. Obviously, the objective right now for Guatemala is to get second place. I just don't think they have still enough to overtop Panama in this group. Now, can they get enough points to qualify to the Intercontinental playoffs? You have to wait and see. But Guatemala, they're riding on momentum. Can they sustain it? El Salvador. The less said about the Gold Cup, the better, because they were absolutely dreadful. I mean, scoring 0 goals, having the lowest amount of shots on target, only generating 1.1 XG in 3 games. I mean, El Salvadorian fans, you gotta have coffee. You need to have like some tequila or something to wake up and watch this trash football that we witnessed at the Gold Cup. And yeah, they have some decent players. They only generated 28 touches in the opposition box in the Gold Cup. Do you know how bad that is? 28 touches in 3 games. Now, can their turnaround be fixed in a couple months? I really don't think so. I think El Salvador, you kind of seen these results happening in the performances recently in the second round of CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers going into this third round, including the Gold Cup. It's like the performances are starting to dwindle. There's no sort of spark with this team. There's no sort of energy, and I'm a little bit worried about El Salvador because this is a very difficult group. Remember, they're a pot 2 team before this draw even happened. If they got in the group with Jamaica and Trinidad and Bermuda, I think El Salvador could have a little bit more hope, but this group is very difficult. Now, mind you, look, El Salvador have qualified twice to the World Cup in their history. If they make it a third time, I would be genuinely shocked. I really would be. I think they're in a little bit of a downfall. Can they turn around? Let's see. And the last team in this group then is Suriname. Now, Suriname, of course, one of the most talented teams from like the mid-table lower half sides of CONCACAF. But when they face similar level opposition or a little bit better than them, they never impress. They can never get that one result where you're like, wow, Suriname, they can build upon it and be a better side. Now, Geraldo Becker is such a key player for Suriname, but inconsistency club level wise maybe is affecting him with the national team. They're going to be finding it out, I think, with Guatemala for that second spot. I mean, their home record is good, but the away record in CONCACAF, Suriname are not a good side away from home. So they're going to have to bank on being a good home side. They are a talented team. There's no doubt about it, but you can have all the talent you want. I've seen it with Nigeria. I've seen it with, Belgium and other sides around the world. You can have so many talented players, but you have to play as a unit. Suriname don't play as a unit. They have good individual players, but there's that sort of missing chemistry. They're on that low bar in FIFA. So I think Suriname, they're definitely going to battle it out with Guatemala, and that's going to be such a great matchup when those two teams play out against each other. So here's my prediction for this group. I think Panama are going to be in first place with 14 points. I think Panama are going to absolutely steamroll this group. I just think they're such a strong team. They're going to bounce back after the Gold Cup. I think they're going to get 14 points. Second place, I got Guatemala with only 8 points. I think they're going to share some points with Suriname. I think Suriname can beat them at home. Away from home, I'm going to give it to Guatemala. Don't sleep on El Salvador. El Salvador are a sneaky, good home side, and they can definitely upset one of Guatemala and Suriname. That's why I got Suriname on 7 points and El Salvador on 4 points. Group B then. Oh boy, it is the Caribbean battle out here. It is Trinidad Tobago, Curaçao, Bermuda, and Jamaica. Bermuda, it's a fantastic story. They've made it to this round of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. They are huge outsiders, people. They are 162nd ranked in FIFA. The mere fact that Bermuda are in this scenario is a marvelous thing, and it should be such a proud moment for the country after they upset Cuba 2-1 away from home. But let's be honest here. A realistic goal for this side is getting 4 points. If they get 4 points in this group, I think that would be a huge achievement for Bermuda, but they're going to find it very difficult. Yes, Trinidad, Tobago, Curaçao, and Jamaica, they're not like the most consistent of teams, but you have to look at the opposition Bermuda faced in the previous round. Cuba, downfall going on right now. I just think Bermuda are in a very difficult group, but this is a very good stepping stone for the national team. Just keep getting better. You got to face tougher opponents. You can't just keep beating the Montserrat, the Cayman Islands, if you want to improve as a national team. You have to go up against a Trinidad, a Curaçao, and Jamaica. This is a very good moment for Bermuda. Just don't have huge expectation if you're Bermudian. Don't, because the fact that you've made it to this round is a massive achievement. Then Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the Soca Warriors are looking for their second ever World Cup appearance. They obviously made it in 2006. Obviously a great team they had then. And it's a far cry from that national team because that team in 2006, they were Warriors. This team, they concede goals. And I mean goals. And defensively are a horror show. Now look, Dwight York is the manager. And he's done well to kind of rebuild this side. But there was so much like expectation Trinidad and Tobago fans talking about, oh, we can do something at the Gold Cup. Look how that went. I mean, they were defensively a horror show at that tournament. Now, Levi Garcia is a very good player. Obviously, I saw him a couple times at AECO Athens. I like the player. He's going to have to turn into God mode right here. If Trinidad want to have any chance of upsetting Curaçao or Jamaica, he needs to be on fire. But the one thing they need to fix is the defense. If they can fix the defense, they could definitely upset Curaçao or Jamaica in one-off games. But going toe-to-toe with those two sides for this group, I think Trinidad, you just got to have patience if you're a fan. You're building upon. You got to look at where you were. You were in the gutter the last couple years. Dwight York, as at the beginning of his process, keep on building and keep on building. So if you could beat a Jamaica or Curaçao and maybe kind of affect their campaign here, I think that would be a good result for Trinidad and Tobago. Curaçao then. Are these guys going to do it? be debutants at the next World Cup. It would be an historical moment for this small nation, and Dick Advocaat has done this before. He's gotten teams qualifying to the World Cup. Can he do it one more time? He's such an experienced international manager, but now this is going to be his biggest test, because if he does this with Curaçao, I mean, that would be a legendary thing. That would be the biggest highlight on his CV. Now, Curaçao were good at the Gold Cup. You know, they gave a fantastic game to Canada. I thought Curaçao were actually fantastic, and they just missed a lot of chances. They missed the fourth most big chances at the Gold Cup, behind Canada, USA, and Mexico. Very solid defensive team. Obviously, the Bakuna brothers in the midfield are the glue for this side. I mean, as long as you have those two guys in the midfield, or you're good if you're Curaçao. They have plenty of goal scorers. I think they could really cause an upset here with Jamaica. But they are a nation on the rise. And with an experienced manager mixed in with some good players, I feel like Curaçao could upset Jamaica here. If I was Jamaican, I would be very upset that you got Curaçao. And then the last team, Jamaica. Let's keep it straight here. If the Reggae Boys fail to qualify for this World Cup, it would be a complete and utter disaster. They've been handed a perfect group. You don't need to travel to Central America. You don't need to face very hostile environments away from home. You are given the Caribbean Cup right here if you're Jamaica. You cannot F this up. Steve McLaren, you cannot F this up. You need to find the right balance in the midfield. I mean, it's so like disappointing for Jamaica because that Gold Cup was a horror show. It was a horror show. Nothing defensively, horrible midfield. The star players are not showing up. That's why you have to look at Leon Bailey and Damari Gray here and saying, you two need to step up here. Jamaicans can always blame the midfield. Look at your star players. Demand more from your star players. They have to ride. This is Jamaica's greatest opportunity. They're not going to get a better opportunity than this to qualify for a World Cup. Their second ever after 1998. 1998 team would have walked this group. They would have gotten 18 points in this group and called it a day. This team, though, you can't have trust. So that's the problem for this Jamaican national team. Because there's so much uncertainty with this side and the midfield being so unbalanced, there's just no chemistry there. Steve McLaren is under pressure because if he fails to qualify, adios, you're done. And for some of these players, you're going to have to look at them if you're Jamaican saying, why are we still calling them up? Are they worthy of wearing the national team kit? But Jamaica, they are such a talented team. That's the frustrating part, I think, for neutrals and Jamaicans. It's like, you see these players, you're like, wow, they are good players, but they don't show it for the national team. Now, coming to my prediction here. Bermuda are going to finish at the bottom with 2 points. I just think Bermuda are in a very difficult group. I mean, if they get 4 points in this group, wow, that would be amazing. I think Trinidad are going to be in third place with 4 points. Second place then. I was tempted to say Curaçao are going to qualify, but I'm going to back Jamaica one more time. And I'm going to say Curaçao in second place with 11 points and Jamaica in first place with 14 points. They cannot F this up. This is more just hope and just hoping and praying for Jamaicans, because if they fail from this group, all the outrage on social media, YouTube, it's going to be glorious to watch, but also like, I can feel your frustration if you're Jamaica. I just think Jamaica are going to sort it out a little bit. It's not going to be still perfect. So if you're Jamaican, you're like, oh my God, we need to see a complete 360 spin-a-rooney from Booker T to see a new side from the Gold Cup. You're not going to see that. You might see some glimpses of hope and some positivity, but Jamaica still have the quality. They still got the experience in their side to do it. They must do it. I'm predicting them to get 14 points in this group and make their second ever World Cup. And the last group then is Costa Rica, Honduras, Haiti, and Nicaragua. Let's just start off with Nicaragua. It is a great story that they're also in this third round, but again, they're going to find it very difficult. Similar to Bermuda, similar to El Salvador, Nicaragua were not a very good team, I thought, in the second round. You have to look at the opponents they faced in that second round. Guyana, Montserrat, and Belize. Which of those teams are going to upset that team? Nobody. So they're kind of fortunate to be in this round. And yeah, they have some decent players. I've seen Jaime Moreno play here in Finland for Asiakko. Very good striker. So if he can go into God tier mode, turn into like prime Chris Paul, prime Blake Griffin, oh, maybe Nicaragua will have a chance here, but I just don't see it because they still don't have enough quality going up against the Haiti side, Honduras, and Costa Rica. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. If they get a victory in this group, huge achievement for Nicaragua. Haiti. Oh, Haiti, man. Again, it's like Jamaica. Very good team on paper, but it's just such a roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes maybe good, and sometimes maybe shit. They were not great at that Gold Cup. They got that thrashing from Curaçao, and I feel like the confidence level of this side just completely dwindled after it. They are still a dangerous team. One, because of Pierrot, the striker, very good player. Ade in the defense, I really love him from Liga de Quito. I've seen him a couple of times play for Liga de Quito and for Haiti. I think he's a very strong center back, very good leader. The problem for Haiti is I think they lack an identity. They don't know what sort of style they want to play. There's moments where they play very high tempo, attacking style of football, a little bit more defensive in other games. But that's sometimes their downfall. When they play so well, they don't get the result. And when they play bad, they get the result then. So it's very mixed emotions when it comes to Haiti. Very dangerous team, and I think they can upset Costa Rica and Honduras in this group. The sad thing for them is they can't play any of their games at home, so they're going to be neutral venues. Is that going to affect this team? I think so when you're going to go up against Costa Rica on Honduras, but keep an eye on Haiti. I know they didn't have the greatest of Gold Cups, but they're still a strong team. For Honduras, it's been a roller coaster a couple of years for the fans, for the federation, for the national team. Instability, poor performances, but finally some hope. Can they build upon a good Gold Cup where they reached the semifinals? They knocked out Panama, only lost 1-0 to Mexico. After that embarrassing defeat to Canada, I was like, oh, Honduras are absolutely in the gutter. They completely turned it around. I don't know how, but they just did it because of a strong defensive unit. Kevin Arriaga in the midfield, very good player. Antonio Lozano, I was a little bit disappointed in the Gold Cup because I know usually for the national team, he shows up. The Gold Cup, not so much. Now, Luis Palma, most talented player, I think, but he's just too inconsistent. He's like inconsistency club level is affecting him with the national team. If Honduras want to qualify for the World Cup directly from this group, they have to have a perfect home record. And we know Honduras have a very hostile environment and a very good home side. But when they're away from home for Honduras, that's where you see this fragile side of this team. But they have some momentum. Same to Guatemala. Can they build upon it? And the last team then is Costa Rica. Los Ticos aiming for their 4th straight World Cup appearance. Think about that, people. Los Ticos 4th straight. Miguel Herrera, I just want to see him at the World Cup because the vibes, the atmosphere, and hopefully we could see then Costa Rica play a game in Mexico because that would just be incredible vibes for them. We know this team are young and up and coming, mixed in with the experienced players that Miguel Herrera still calls up, like Keylor Navas. You got promising players like Manfred Ugalde, Jalen Mitchell. I just really like this Costa Rican team because even though they were missing Manfred Ugalde against the United States, they went toe-to-toe with the USA. They should have won that game. It wasn't for penalties. We know Costa Rica, dominant home side. Away from home, it could be a challenge going away to Honduras. That's the only away game where I'm like, oh, maybe Costa Rica could slip up there. My predictions for this group. Nicaragua with 1 point. I think they're really going to struggle in this group. This is a very difficult group for them. In 3rd place, I got Haiti on 7 points. 2nd place, Honduras on 11 points. And in 1st place, and making their 4th straight World Cup, Los Ticos, Costa Rica with 13 points. So now that leaves the 2 teams that will qualify to the Intercontinental playoffs. And those 2 teams, unfortunately for Guatemalans, because of the difficult group they are in, and they're going to drop some points to Suriname and El Salvador, I got Honduras and Curaçao advancing to the Intercontinental playoff. Now, will those teams qualify to the World Cup from the Intercontinental playoffs? Time will tell because we have to see the opponents from CAF, AFC, and obviously OFC with New Caledonia, and CONMEBOL, of course. So I think it's going to be very difficult for those 2 teams. But hey, maybe they can build upon this good 3rd round into the Intercontinental playoffs and see what happens. So the 3 teams I think will qualify directly from the 3rd round: Jamaica, Panama, and Costa Rica. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, people. The 3rd round is going to be exhilarating. I think after what we saw in the Gold Cup, we're going to see some very good football, intense football. It's always going to be so intense in CONCACAF. But now with 3 spots up for grabs to qualify to the World Cup, it's going to be even more crazy. We're going to preview the September window, so stay tuned for that here on the channel. If you like CONCACAF content, if you love international football content, if you love World Cup qualifying content, this is the channel to be. So subscribe if you're new around here, hit the like button, follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links, description down below, and have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.